me and said, look, I'm taking more risk now. And I think that's part of it. Like when we fail, which is why so many of us don't take as many risks, it's never really, not never, but almost always never as really bad as we thought it was going to be.
When we fail at the risk, yeah.
Yeah, when we fail at doing it, it's never, the letdown's never, in a real measure, as bad as we thought it was going to be. And the people that are going, they're on the sidelines for a reason. You play football. Yeah. They're over there, they're in the bleachers with the whistle in their mouth for a reason. But the ones that are on the field trying out stuff with you are right there next to you going, hey man, me too. I blew it over here, or I blew it here, but thanks for taking the shot. Thanks for trying. That's what we're doing. And I think that's something that a lot of people got from the book. So the shame and the embarrassment turned into humor. And then I noticed that I consistently stepped in the same pot just quite a few times. I think I've evolved somewhat, but I'm still working on the piles that I'm stepping in.
When did you feel like you were the most wounded? Wounded, like internally wounded, where maybe you thought you had it all figured out, or you thought like I'm successful, but really on the inside, maybe you felt like you were full of,
Oh, well, there's been a few, but I'll say, look, Australia, the year I had there, and you know that story from the book, that was a really tough year, but that was not a year when I thought I had it figured out. That was a big year. The early questions of youth are why?
Yes.
Why? And you learn some things, you start to define your hows and whens and your wheres, but when I was rolling in my career later on in life and was like your girlfriend Martha, rolling in rom-coms in Hollywood, I was enjoying them, but I didn't feel like they were feeding me back. I didn't feel like they were the right kind of challenge for me. And it came to me at a time when Camilla and I had fallen in love, and she was pregnant with our first son. So all of a sudden, life's vital, man. It's like real, right? My laughs are louder, my tears are wetter, my joy is bigger, my pain is deeper. That's not where rom-coms are built. Rom-coms are built to be buoyant up here. Keep it light, bounce cloud to cloud. Don't go so deep or so high. They're built that way on purpose. But my life was getting extremely dramatic, and I liked it. And I started to feel like, well, what am I doing in my career? I remember saying this to myself, am I just an entertainer? And I made sure to look myself in the mirror and go, and if you are, is there anything wrong with being just an entertainer? That's okay too. But I just wanted to see if my career could challenge the vitality of my life that I was living at the time. So I tried to find dramas that I wanted to do that more represented the man I was becoming. Hollywood was saying, no, thank you. You stay in your lane, McConaughey. We got other people that'll do those. So I'll take a massive pay cut. We said, no, thank you. Stay in your lane. So because I couldn't do what I wanted to do, I pulled up and quit doing what I was doing. And I took a one-way ticket out of Hollywood, not knowing if it would be a one-way ticket or a return ticket, but not knowing how long I was going to be dry without work.
It was 20 months, right? Is that what
20 months without any work.
That's unbelievable. When was the time where you felt like, or when you felt like people stopped talking about you, or you weren't as relevant, or they stopped calling you for auditions? Or
Yeah. So
you weren't in the gossip news or whatever?
Hell no, I wasn't. And now remember, I'm coming from Hollywood at that time where I was living in Malibu, living on the beach, and my rom-com run was parlayed with paparazzi getting shots of me on the beach all the time. So McConaughey shirtless on the beach was synonymous with McConaughey and the rom-coms. It was like, his life is his rom-coms. Rom-coms is his life, right? So I moved with Camilla to Texas, and no beaches there, no paparazzi there. The first 6 months, all I got offered was rom-coms. I said, no. So then they said, okay, we got the message. They quit offering rom-coms. So what they offer? Nothing.
Wow.
I call it 8 months. I hadn't heard from my agent. He says, buddy, you hadn't heard from me because I hadn't heard about you. Call it 10 months. He goes, man, I hadn't even heard your name in 2 months.
Wow.
I call it a year. He's like, buddy, I hadn't even heard your name. No one's interested. So I'm like, okay. I start thinking about, do I need to find another career, another vocation?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Like stop acting all in all?
Well, I didn't know. I knew I had already made the covenant with myself and my wife that I was not going back. Was I wobbly at that time? Was I looking for something to achieve and find some significance and purpose? Right. Thankfully, I've got a young child on the way.
Mm.
Or was probably maybe at 12 months just born at that time. So that's given me real resonance and purpose to keep me at least
focused somewhere.
Focused on something I could rely on having meaning and value, but still I needed my own personal thing to get off to, my own craft, and I didn't have it. What was I going to do? So, freaking making wind chimes. You know what I mean? But seriously, I was like, and I've said this before, the old bottle of my favorite spirit started looking a little bit better earlier in the day because the days were long, bro. The days were getting long.
Around noon, you started
and Monday and Saturday were melding into each other, and you know what a lifelong of Saturdays can do to us. Make a tyrant out of us, bro. So I was looking for...
But you were on the top, man. You were like...
I was the top at rom-coms. Yeah, that was I owned that lane. And I was the go-to rom-com guy. But I was not going to go back and do that. I'd made the truth that I had, that 3 a.m. truth that hit me and stuck with me for months before I made the decision to step out of Hollywood. I knew it was true. It was a quiet truth, and tears have been shed on my wife's shoulder and with myself going, this is the decision we're making in my soul. We're going to make it and stick to it.
And no matter, I think you talk about, I think there was like someone offered you $15 million or somewhere around there.
Right around month...
It's testing you.
18.
And it starts testing you. It's like, hell, 5 million, 10 million, 12 million. And then you said it starts to...
Well, I'll tell you the story. So a year goes by, nothing. And I said, I'm starting to think about different vocations, but I'm going to stick to my guns. 15 months, 18 months. Another rom-com comes in. But my agent says, this one's really good, and check out this offer. They offer an $8 million offer. Let me read that. Now, before, the first year, I wasn't even reading. No.
Right.
No to the genre. No. But I read it. It's pretty good, man. No, thank you. They come back, $10 million offer. I said, no, thank you. They come back with a $12 million offer. I said, no, thank you. They come back with a $14.5 million offer for the same script that they sent first with the $8 million offer. And what did I say? Let me read this again. And I read it again, and it was funnier.
Yeah.
I read it again. It was funnier. I could see myself in that character. I was like, could be a pretty good idea, buddy. What do you... But I ultimately said no. And when I said no to the 14.5, I think what it did is it sent an invisible sort of lightning bolt through Hollywood execs that McConaughey just turned down 14.5. He hasn't worked in 18 months, and he just turned down 14.5. What's he up to?
Interesting.
What's that guy doing? He's on to something. To turn that down, it shifted. It was like, he's definitely not bluffing. Okay?
Yeah.
So one of two things could happen. Okay, thanks for your run in Hollywood, McConaughey. See you next life. Or what did happen is 2 months later, I get a call for the Lincoln Lawyer, Killer Joe, and Mud, and True Detective, Dallas Buyers Club, all these things. And so what happened is I unbranded in those 20 months. Mm-hmm. Where is he? Now he just turned down the 14.5. Wait, this guy's making affirmative action. That isn't a recessive move. That's like Hollywood. That's like, you're doing what?
Right.
What do you got going? So all of a sudden I became a new good idea for possibly these dramas I was looking for. Because I've been gone so long.
Interesting.
Because I wasn't getting recorded on the beach, shirtless, Mount Bitter.
Right.
I wasn't in your theater, your home, in a rom-com each night. I was persona non grata for a while. Well, when you're gone long enough, you get forgotten, or you become a new, novel, good idea, maybe for what you were looking for. And that's what fortunately happened for me.
I love this because you talk about planting gardens to attract butterflies as opposed to chasing them. You also talk about this idea of being the target versus...
The target draws the arrow?
Yes.
Yeah.
So is that kind of what you were doing? It's like you were tending to your own garden, your own inner world. You're developing yourself, shedding the old skin and becoming anew during that time and allowing the right things to come to you?
Well, I was definitely doing the first, but I couldn't rely on the second. Okay? I was definitely tending my own garden.
How do we learn to have that trust and the faith that there might be something great coming to us when we draw a line in the sand and we say we're not going back to this personality we had, these habits, these behaviors, this industry that we were in, that served us so well for so long.
Yeah.
But now I'm saying no to that old way of being and trusting that something greater is going to wash over me. How do we trust? Because it could have not happened for you.
It could have not happened. We might not be sitting here right now. I might not have gone on to do the work that I've been doing since then. I might not have had the courage to go write the book. I might be that high school football coach that I was thinking about being.
Really?
Yeah. I might be that wildlife guide in Africa that I was thinking about being. I might be that conductor of a symphony that I was thinking about becoming, and not sitting here. How do we trust it? I think, look, when the decision came to me, I was in a position to hear the truth. My heart was looking and my mind were looking, and I was giving myself room to cut out all the outside stimulus.
Yes.
And you know how when those truths come, they land like a lightning bolt and a butterfly at the same time. But you know they're true, and they're true for you when they land. And you go, oh, that was a direct line. Whether you're religious or you call it the prime mover, the way maker, the universe, whatever you want to call it. That was a direct line, and that's true to me. And then comes the hard part. Trusting that truth when the sun rises and you're back in the middle of the masses. They're all going, hey, try this. What are you doing today? They weren't there for that truth last night. Mm-hmm. Their truth that they think of you was the same one you had the day before, but now your truth's different. Mm. So trusting that and not letting your onion get peeled, because that's what happens. It starts to strip away. You know, it's why I think why people have, church once a week. Because you're good on Monday, but come Friday, you don't need it. You know what I mean? Yeah. You start to forget the things, That's why we need to update to maintain ourselves with our mental health, spiritual health, and physical health. Understanding it is one thing, but then keeping it in action and trusting in it and having the patience to trust it into another. So it hit me in a clear way that I knew it was true. I had someone in my life, Camilla, that was close